Welcome to Building the Future. I'm your host, Kevin Horick. You can check out new episodes of the show every Tuesday and Thursday at 2 p.m. If you missed an episode or want to get more information about the show, please visit buildingthefutureshow.com. Season 1 of the TV version of Building the Future is now streaming online at buildingthefutureshow.com. Welcome back to the show. Today we have the team at FundThis. Guys, welcome to the show.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, guys, I'm excited to have you guys on the show. I know we kind of ran into each other at the Startup Expo months back, and I thought what you guys are doing is pretty interesting and kind of a different take on the fun, self-fund kind of your project. But maybe before we kind of get into FundThis, let's get to know each one of you a little bit better and maybe just tell us a bit about who you are and your background.
Yeah, sounds good. Hey, I'm David Hartman, co-founder and CTO of FundThis. I've been leading the architecture of the platform and brainstorming the ideas, new features, and the features that really set us apart, as well as running some of the operations of the company so far.
Awesome.
And I'll turn it over to Felix.
Sure.
Hey, so my name is Felix. I'm the current CEO of FundThis. My background is I was actually one of the board members at SubX and other events such as Next Gen Summit, and I come more from a business background than from a tech background. So given that I'm also David's brother, I recently came in as the CEO to take over operations and blow this thing up.
That's awesome.
I'm Anthony Pereira, and I'm one of the co-founders along with David Hartman on this project. We started this project about a year ago, development. Right now my role is kind of helping fund the growth and some business development. I come from a business background, started a couple of companies, sold a couple of companies, and pretty excited to be on the FundThis team.
I'm Brian Wood, and on the software side, I handle project management for continuous development, and then on the equity side, I'm the acting chief compliance officer.
Awesome. Great, guys. Well, welcome to the show. I'm glad to have all of you. It's nice. I've never done 4 people, but I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, excited.
So kind of walk me through how the idea of FundThis kind of came to be and why you guys decided to start this thing.
Yeah, so, as Anthony mentioned about a year ago, or it was actually, I think we started talking more than a year ago, it was more than a year and a half or so. And yeah, we were talking about crowdfunding and that there were just a good number of pitfalls that current crowdfunding sites have, and why do they have those? And yeah, just got to talk more, and hey, why don't we just make a site that actually fixes those issues, where in particular, but there's a lot of difficulties that people are having with crowdfunding. So we came up with extra features or special features on our site that would just make life easy again for people that want to participate in crowdfunding.
Sure. So what are those pain points that you guys are solving?
So one of them is that people are pretty confused with crowdfunding, or they get lost. They just don't know enough about it, and they have a lot of questions. Most crowdfunding sites are not very open to help with those, so those people spend tons and tons of time on forums. So one of the things is that we integrated a chat, and we actually came up with something called project coaches.
Okay.
That will help someone who wants to set up a project. They are on our staff and on our team, and they will help them to put together a campaign, be it from what's a good marketing angle, what would be good perks or rewards, what's a good goal, duration, all those questions that people could have. They will actually help them along so that people can, instead of struggling, they can just put together their campaign and focus on marketing it.
Okay, so they reach out to you guys, you put them with a member on your team to kind of help them with this stuff. How long before the campaign goes kind of live, or does it really depend on how big the campaign's going to be?
So usually it really depends on the individual.
Okay.
It can be It can be 3 days, it can be a month. It really depends how ready they are, because it's also a question of, are they selling, are they trying to launch a new product with it, and is the product ready? So since I've been taking over, me and my team, when we get new clients or when we go search out for new clients, because we also oftentimes look for great ideas that didn't succeed on, let's say, Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and we kind of give them the back and we give them the support and, really look at that branding and their marketing to reach bigger crowds to make sure that they do reach their goal.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so is there a fee for that, or is that free?
No, free.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. So,
Yeah, at least.
okay, go ahead, sorry.
Right. Something we might add in the future is, as we're growing the platform right now, it's just run by the team, but it's something I'm working on is that in the future we can get some, crowdfunding experts to kind of join the platform as consultants. And, when you create the project, you almost get like a menu of, experts that can become your personal project coach. And, you can always get somebody from the team for free, or you can, get somebody that maybe has launched $1 million crowdfunds, and they get either a flat or percentage fee.
Okay, so what kind of stuff do you guys traditionally help people with? Like, I get marketing and kind of branding, but like, what exactly does that mean?
That means everything. I mean, the idea in setting up the crowdfunding platform is one thing, but there's so many, crowdfunding projects that have great ideas and great videos and everything. But if it doesn't reach the public, that means, social media marketing, email marketing, maybe some ground stuff as well. So that's something we'll help with. But even further than just, marketing, it's also making the site happen in the first place, meaning we have something that we call EasyPerk that makes the whole process of creating a project so much easier, because instead of having to, on your own, create, stickers, thank you cards, T-shirts, and anything else you can come up with, we automate that whole process so that you just upload a design and you put it on a certain item or piece of apparel, and we automatically print and ship no matter how many get ordered.
Okay, interesting. So how does that... Go ahead, sorry.
That's actually one of the other major features that we've integrated, which Felix just mentioned, is the EasyPerk, where creation and fulfillment of certain of those perks, of a growing selection of perks that we've integrated with, are just, as you said, automatically generated and fulfilled for the campaign. That's the second big pain point that we wanted to address, because a lot of these campaigns, let's say, run a campaign, sell some of their prototypes and also some of the swag, and at the end of the campaign, they met their goal, raised the money, but now they have 200 T-shirts to send out. Now, instead of focusing on, okay, this is what I did, here I have my money, now I can start my business or push my business forward, now they get stuck packaging and shipping out 200 T-shirts, which is, I've, in my family, packaged a lot of things before. It's a quite tedious and laborsome effort and act. So that we wanted to tackle with EasyPerk, where we integrate with various manufacturers to take all the information in, take that all the project creators need to do is they can upload an image and select what sizes and colors and types of shirts or hoodies. Currently we would focus on apparel. They want to make available, and then on the user side too, people that want to contribute, they can select, oh, I want the shirt in medium and blue with this logo on there as a reward or thank you for their donation or contribution.
Yeah, because 9 times out of 10, these project creators aren't T-shirt or apparel manufacturers.
Sure.
They're going to source a T-shirt or apparel manufacturers and putting the shirt in a package, making sure it gets there and delivered properly at the right size and the right color at the right time. It's kind of overwhelming for some of these project creators. So this EasyPerk concept kind of takes all that and simplifies the whole process.
Right. And not just that, also from a financial perspective, from the get-go, EasyPerk tells you if you sell a T-shirt at this price, this is the amount of profit you'll be reaping. Versus some Kickstarters, there's horror stories of how they sold 1,000 shirts, but the problem is that they priced them at the wrong point, and now with shipping and everything, they're losing money rather than making money.
Right. No, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so Is there any other things that you guys are doing different than the traditional kind of crowdfunding campaigns?
Yeah. We give students and nonprofits, we take 0% fees.
Okay.
So with the GoFundMe, it's pretty sad actually. You know, they take about 10% of what you raise. So if $4 million get raised for the Orlando shooting, that means $400,000 gets pocketed by GoFundMe. Us, on the other hand, you know, we would take 0%, so the funds actually go where they're supposed to go.
Sure. No, that makes a lot of sense. So then, what is your fee for kind of the other that aren't people that aren't students or nonprofits?
That's pretty standard. We take 5%. That's about the same as Kickstarter. It is the same.
Gotcha. Okay.
And
then, sorry, go ahead.
Obviously, for all of them, there's the regular 2.9% plus 30 cents per transaction credit card fee.
Direct pass-through cost.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, so when people are just kind of getting back to the merchandise kind of side of things, how do you guys decide which manufacturers you're going to get, say, T-shirts printed from? You guys have a bunch of preferred vendors?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Spent a lot of time looking for someone that the biggest thing is that we could find someone that would integrate with us and that we could integrate with them.
Okay.
The other major consideration was ratings. Now, crowdfunding through apparel is huge, but again, I mean, as Felix and Dave touched on earlier, when we were researching some of the pain points in crowdfunding campaigns like Kickstarter and Indiegogo, it was people not receiving their shirts in time or messed up shirts and things like that. So we spent a lot of time checking different vendors for positive reviews and quick delivery times, and again, price. So price-wise, I don't think you're going to do too much better than you would do through us, and that's even talking about going through Shopify. So it's a number of different things, but it's mainly we're trying to make it as painless as possible for the campaign owner.
Sure. So are you guys actually shipping the actual merch to the backers, or do you guys kind of have a drop ship place, or kind of how does that work?
Yeah, so actually the integration that we did and the manufacturer that we integrated with, they do the drop shipping already.
Oh,
Meaning
nice.
in the pay or the price that we show for this is what your Easy Perk would cost, it includes the shirt, printing off the shirt, and shipping to the address.
Okay, very cool.
So that everything's really taken care of. And with that, so with Easy Perk, we addressed a couple different pain points. One other one was that usually after a Kickstarter campaign, for example, the project creator usually has to send out a survey to all the people that just bought some perks or that donated for a perk. And need to ask, okay, what size do you want? Or what color or size, whatever it is, they need to get that information. Because of the integration, we already take care of that. As you contribute for a perk, you select, okay, I want this in medium. And if we give color options, and also I want this in medium and blue. Making it also there very easy that as soon as the campaign is over, that gets sent off to our manufacturer, and the perks can be on their merry way and going to the contributors.
So
making this very smooth and fast.
So how long does it take from when you send to the manufacturer to the actual backer to start getting their merchandise? I get depending on where in the world they are, but is it weeks? Is it a month? Do you have a rough time estimate?
Yeah, I've seen them go out within a few days.
Oh, really? That's really quick.
I've seen backers get them within 4 or 5 days.
After the project closes.
Yeah, after the end of the project, obviously. But
sure.
Yeah, I mean, from the process from the design reaching the facility to that item being printed on demand and then going into a box is very, very quick.
Sure. No, that makes a lot of sense. So I'm curious then, so as a user, I come to your site, obviously I sign up for free, I can decide, I reach out to you guys set me up with this campaign and you guys, you market it and promote it and whatnot. What happens to you guys once the campaign gets funded, are you guys still kind of involved? Are you kind of done at that point, or is there any kind of future? Do you work with these companies kind of beyond getting funded?
Yeah. So first off, just to make clear for the listeners, it is a bit more independent process. You can open up the project yourself, you can set it up and everything, but we're there every step to guys can help you out. So
Sure.
It's not that have to make the project, you can make it yourself. And for example, now with the new clients we got on, I'll sit down with them or take them on the phone and walk them through the process, like the marketing aspect. So like the project owner still has to make sure that they're pushing it to their circles. But on a future side, I think one of the things is funding never really stops. So we'll continue to work with the people that put on projects, especially if they're successful. Then we'll see what is the next goal we can reach. What are some new features that your product might need, or what's the version 2? And the same way, if the project doesn't succeed, we'll reach out or we'll check and see, what went wrong, what can we do better.
Got you. Okay.
And then also the equity side. Once the project comes on, say you got a new prototype or something, and you want to start your prototype and get the prototype manufactured, and now you come back to us a year later or 8 months later, and you got a viable business model. Now you're looking to raise equity and sell equity to the company to raise serious more money.
Yeah.
That's when our equity side of our business model comes into play.
Okay, so do you want to kind of talk a little bit more about that side? Like, I get you probably take a different amount or negotiate different deals based on what people are looking to do, but do you maybe want to kind of elaborate a little bit more on exactly what that means for the people that don't really understand what that means?
Let's let our chief compliance officer kind of talk about it.
Sure.
All right, so for folks who aren't aware of the past few years with respect to the Jobs Act and equity crowdfunding, just about a month and a half, it was on May 16th, Title III crowdfunding went live. Now, what that means for seasoned investors isn't a whole lot, okay? If you're an accredited investor, you've been in the game for several years and you're trading on the exchange. But if, say you're an issuer and you're looking to raise up to $1 million, you're looking to get people in your community involved, people who may not necessarily be accredited investors, that's now a possibility for really the first time since just after the Great Depression and when those reforms were passed. So let's say you have a small business, it's a startup, you want to raise funds to continue on with Anthony's example, you have a successful prototype, you want to go into mass manufacture, you need, say, $1 million or something like that to do some marketing and production and so forth. You can issue debt or equity, and those securities, a couple things. One, they cannot be publicly listed, but generally these are pre-revenue companies anyway, so that's not an issue. And you can list debt and equity, and issue these to accredited and unaccredited investors alike. Obviously, there are limits on how much an accredited investor and unaccredited investors can put in, but at that $1 million cap, it allows for a nice round figure for people to raise, like around $2,000 a piece.
Okay.
And so, yeah,
You can do multiple rounds.
What's that?
You can do multiple rounds too.
Yeah, you can do multiple rounds. And this is sort of one step of a few in equity crowdfunding. You have different types of rounds that are open to accredited investors also. But a lot of people are speculating right now that Title III is going to be the way that small businesses are capitalized within the next few years.
Sure. No, I think that makes a lot of sense. And I think the thing that I found really interesting about you guys is you almost help them from like the very beginnings to actually having something, whether it's physical or digital or kind of a combo of both, right? Where a lot of crowdfunding platforms just offer kind of that like middle piece that they'll hopefully get you money, and then you're kind of on your own before and after.
Sure. Yeah. And it's interesting to talk to a lot of people that we met at Emerge and some of the other conferences who had done campaigns elsewhere. So a lot of them have even gone and hired third-party consultants to do things that our project coaches do, and still weren't successful because they didn't have much of a roadmap, right?
Sure.
We try to help folks from beginning to end, and then carry them through to equity. Kickstarter and Indiegogo, looking at equity, the future of that's kind of doubtful. So for now, I mean, there aren't really a lot of sites who are going to be doing perk and equity and doing it in sort of that holistic fashion and bringing it to that segment of the population who's never even heard of crowdfunding yet, which is a big focus for us.
Sure. And the other thing too is like you guys can help them on the software side, and it sounds like you guys have some connections into the manufacturing side as well, and where a lot of people don't have that and they don't even really know where to start, right?
Absolutely.
Right, like FundThis, there's some close ties to the Civil Logic, which developed FundThis. So whenever we can do the whole thing. So if you raise the funds and you don't know a good developer, you already know the architect of that very platform, can take on your project, and we can connect you to the team that runs it.
Sure. No, I think that's awesome. So what kind of typically what types of projects have kind of gone through the platform, and is there kind of certain areas that you guys seem to get more projects in, or is it a little bit kind of all over the map?
Well, we are open, and that was intentionally. We are open to all types of projects, and we didn't want to limit to, say, for example, Kickstarter limits to only creative or prototype style projects. And on GoFundMe, you have only sort of I have some live event, or there's a bigger cause that I'm raising money for, or in the fundraiser type deals. We wanted to intentionally take the holistic approach to help users that they don't need to figure out, okay, where can I post my project? And maybe if I post on Kickstarter, it'll get shut down or rejected because it doesn't fit with their guidelines. That we wanted to allow people to, yes, we'll take you on and we'll guide you through what's the type of project, and then we'll feature you in the right places on our site or categorize you with others that are like you. And for all that, we started to first focus a little more on charitable causes.
Okay.
Especially in combination with that, we have the fee waiver for the first charitable project that a charity posts. So we wanted to first focus on those and a little bit on student projects, just to get the word out, and because those are things where we can sort of give back to the community and just help people to raise funds for their causes, be it a personal cause or a bigger charitable cause.
Sure. That makes sense. So do you just need to be in the States, or can you be in any other country, or are you guys limited by geographics at all?
No, we allow you to sign up from anywhere, not just the States, but anywhere in the world. And we also, the Easy Perk feature that we mentioned earlier, we also ship internationally. Sure, the shipping fee is a bit higher if you ship internationally, because right now we only ship from here, from the States. Okay. But if you choose to want it to be taken care of, then you can ship internationally from that, which is also a big pitfall of some other sites, where if you have contributors that are from all over the globe, then people would get just really like bleed out money for shipping if they need to ship internationally some shirt or sticker or mug that they were giving out as a perk on their campaign and didn't account for shipping.
Sure. No, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So it's open internationally. Another big feature that sets us apart that we're working on is actually Bitcoin, that you can make projects that want to raise Bitcoin as well as collect Bitcoin, meaning it's a full cycle Bitcoin project where instead of using dollars, you raise Bitcoin and people can contribute Bitcoin.
Interesting. And as far as like last time I checked, nobody else is doing that in the space, correct?
Yeah, not really. There's some sites that sort of, but not really, and especially nobody does the combination of the two.
Right. Okay. I got you.
I completely understand why. It's a bit of a struggle. Bitcoin is a world for its own, but it does open up the crowdfunding space to developing countries where currency is just not stable enough for this to make sense. Or especially in developing countries, they are a big fan of Bitcoin because it's just an alternative. You can move it. It's a lot less controlled by the government. So we have, for example, a contact in Venezuela who is a big fan and who's really waiting for us to release the feature. And yeah, it's for those places, and just for some tech fans, it's going to be a cool feature.
So you said you're running into some troubles with integrating Bitcoin. I'm curious, like what is the main kind of hurdle with integrating Bitcoin?
The main hurdle is to find a wallet that would actually be good with crowdfunding.
Gotcha.
So we do a shout out to our two partners.
Sure.
We initially tried to integrate with Coinbase, which is pretty much one of the biggest players in the space. But then earlier this year, there was a bit of craziness going on with Bitcoin when the long-term, it was pretty stable for quite a while, and then spiked up 245 to like 470, 80, or
Now it's trading at 780.
Yeah, it was that during all this time.
Yeah, so there was some craziness going on, and they sort of were really busy with that. So we switched to BitPay, and they sort of was like, oh, cool, yeah, I like the idea. We finished the integration with them, and then as we were launching and getting our production account approved, some higher-ups in the company were like, crowdfunding seems like not something we want to touch.
Oh.
And then sort of Coinbase, who was then like recovered from all the spikes and craziness, and they were also big fans. We talked to various people there, but it's right now still under, and it has been for about 4 months, I think now, under
review.
Under review by their management team. So we hope to sooner or later hear back from them. The integration is set, development's actually done. The only part we're waiting for is for approval on a production account that we can actually go live with. Gotcha. But yeah, their management is reviewing for the last 4 months.
Interesting. And you guys also have Android and iOS apps. Do you want to maybe kind of cover the features that you guys support on mobile?
Yeah, sure. So on mobile, the focus of the initial version of the mobile apps is more focused on, let's say, a viewer type app. Sure. Meaning, so you browse. We have a nice little swipe feature where you get, like in a Discover type view, you'll get some projects that is proposed that could be interesting for you, and you can swipe through them.
Like Tinder.
Got you.
To get projects, like favorite them or like them, and then you can review them again later, be it on the mobile app or from the site. So we focus there on that the mobile apps focus more on the browsing of the project.
Sure,
not
that
so much
makes sense.
Yeah, because that's something we figured, hey, the app is something if you're somewhere like sit in an airport, wait somewhere, or are on the run, you have some time on your hands, you just want to flip through some projects. So the focus of the mobile apps was to really facilitate that process.
Sure, that makes a lot of sense. So, go ahead, sorry.
Aside from the mobile apps, our site is also fully responsive, meaning that if there's any features that are not covered by the mobile apps, you can also just jump in and go to our site and enjoy it on the phone because it's fully responsive, so it looks all good and appropriate on any of the mobile devices or tablets.
Sure, that makes a lot of sense. So I'm kind of curious to know, where do you think the future of kind of crowdfunding is going?
So one big piece where I think, aside from the perk space, I mean, the perks and rewards and fundraiser space is pretty well established already. I mean, people like sites like Kickstarter and GoFundMe have been around for quite some time. where it's evolving a lot right now is the equity space. And I think that's a space that's going to evolve a lot more even. I mean, the new regulation, as Brian mentioned earlier, May 16th, just another piece of legislation was made public. And I think that's the space where we're going to see a lot of change. And I mean, if you look at what we've just seen in the last 6 months or a year in changes and new things that have come out, we're really excited to see what else is going to change, especially with the release of the funding portal, the change that was released on the 16th. I think there's a lot of things that are going to happen and make that process easier. Like right now, the funding portal is like it's up to $1 million, and there's still,
I mean, you regulation. With the new funding portal, you can buy stock in companies using credit cards. I mean, I think what's happening is you're creating a secondary almost IPO market, right? For startup companies, and that's where I think the world's going to kind of shift. The barrier to entry to a startup has gotten a lot less now. To raise $1 million essentially. I mean, obviously there's still some regulations that have to be taken into consideration for that, as far as documentation with the SEC and FINRA and filing your quarterly reports and all that fun stuff, as our compliance officer alluded to. But I think as the sector of the finance industry evolves, it will catch up to technology. I think technology right now is more advanced than the sector allows it to be.
Right.
So,
and I think also, my background is trading, and I think there's, with IPOs, there's such a huge buzz about them, and especially, everybody wants to be in from the start, and there's incredible volume spike in the first IPO days. But I think in the future, IPOs, if you could get stock in an IPO, you're probably late in the game. So I think that there will be a big shift towards getting into private companies. And it's also almost like a democratization, liberalization of the whole VC world. It's no longer a few rich guys that are able to invest into these startups. Now it's, average Americans, blue-collar workers that, save some money up and can put money into, create ventures. And another whole step is that there's a lot of startups that already raised money, but kind of, like under the table, like get some money from mom, get some money from dad, from your uncle, hit up the neighbors. But through those equity crowdfunding sites, it also becomes a lot more transparent, where there's real paperwork behind it, there's real, transparency. So all these deals get, honored. So I think even in that, in the way that money's raised right now, will over the next years greatly transition to the equity crowdfunding space. And to take it a whole step further, I think a lot more companies will wait longer to have their IPO and maybe raise a few more rounds for equity crowdfunding, especially if they do raise the limits in the coming years.
Yeah, no, I think that makes a lot of sense. And so I'm curious to know, is there, without kind of giving away anything that you guys are kind of working on, it's a little secret, like what do you guys kind of see the future of kind of FundThis is? Like, are you guys adding, features or something else that you think can make you guys really stand apart from the competition in the near future that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I think right now our features kind of set it apart from our competition a lot. I think as FundThis and the equity side evolves, I think FundThis is going to be a constantly evolving platform. I see us, we're able at this stage in the game as a company able to pivot and add new features, I think, faster and easier than other established companies. I would say that's probably pretty a fair statement. But FundThis will always be an evolving concept as long as crowdfunding keeps evolving.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, that's it. Sorry. I just, again, I think FundThis right now, as when we set off to do this kind of this company, was to simplify the crowdfunding process both on the equity and perp side, and I think we're achieving those goals right now. I think our features make the process a lot easier. The barrier to entry for both perp and equity, once equity goes live on our site, is a lot simpler. So that's kind of where we see FundThis going.
Yeah, and we have an exciting roadmap of other features that we've planned that will, even more simplify or just add on. That it's not just simplify, but there's more things we want to tackle over time to just give a more wholesome approach to the crowdfunding space, be it on the perp side or on the equity side.
In short, equity crowdfunding that will be really cool. There's a lot of really cool features, that people that are interested in, in stocks and trading and all that, they might, be able to relate to that. So we want to make it very engaging. And I think one of the keys is also, to not just raise the money, is that, both with Perk and Equity, we believe, continue those relationships to make sure that our company continue succeeding. So whatever tools we can give them to succeed beyond raising the money, that's also something we'll provide.
Sure. No, I think that's awesome. So we're kind of coming to the end of the show. Maybe let's close the show with kind of, again, mentioning where people can find you guys online and kind of any other social media links you guys want to mention.
Sounds good. So our website is fundthis.com. And furthermore, we have, on Twitter, FundThis _this. I'm launching an Instagram soon with a Facebook page, which is Let's Fund This. And then if you ever have, a direct question to me, you could just hit me up at Felix O. Hartman on Twitter, very active. So I answer every DM and every tweet. So, if you want to continue this conversation, I highly invite you to.
Perfect. Well, thanks, guys. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to be on the show, and I look forward to following your progress. And, thanks again for doing this.
You got it. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. We'll talk soon.
Take care.
Okay.
Have
Bye.
a great day.
You too. Bye. Thanks for listening. The music for the show is done by Electric Mantra. You can check them out at electricmantra.com and keep building the future.